You know why we don't
Sorry
have
for the
audio is
immediate.
first of all, we're on brand. Let's just start with that.
Of course.
Okay. And I'd had everything muted so I wouldn't accidentally be talking over the intro and then was not talking during the intro.
Right.
But all I said was hello. Welcome to Black Dice Society episode 31 in the depths of winter. Thank you for coming back and joining us. You know, we had a little break here and we're going to have a little more of a break after this, but this is going to be our silky smooth and uneventful holiday special where I'm sure nothing terrible is going to happen to anybody. Like
Now, when you say it like that, I doubt you.
You're saying
Immediately.
Yeah.
you're saying it is the opposite of comforting when I take the time to say there probably won't be cannibalism?
Correct.
Yeah, I'm going to say yeah.
How much is it? Mild cannibalism? Asking for a friend. It's fine.
I mean, mild
Is
cannibalism is, this reminds me, sorry, I know we're getting into the game here, but, I've missed you guys. I've missed you guys, and I've missed you guys. If any of you have read Voltaire's Candide, this is the literature geek in me, there's an old woman in it that has one butt cheek. Because when she was younger, they were in a fort during a siege and everyone was starving. So the solution is they'd all eat one human butt cheek and leave the other one so you could still ride a horse. So that's mild cannibalism. I think one butt cheek cannibalism is mild cannibalism. Hey, that's not me being weird. That's literature. That's Voltaire. Okay?
Yeah.
So.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Have you missed
I was
us?
about to say, let me thank our sponsors who we might have just lost. Warriors of
But butt
Waterdeep.
cheeks, though.
Yeah. Warriors of Waterdeep. I hope the updated Warrior of Waterdeep code is in chat. If not, let me know, and I'll fish one up for you. Idle Champions. There is a Idle Champions code this week. Made sure of that. Actually, I didn't make sure of it. Obo Lauren made sure of it because she's incredible, and she was like, "Don't you need a code tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah." So thanks, Lauren from Codename Entertainment. Again, our TeePublic store is live. Now that the world is starting again and we've got to hang out in public, a lot of you have seen my Black Dice Society mask that I do rock all the time. Literally walked in to a Starbucks and somebody was like, "Ah!" And I was like, "Yeah, that's us." Yeah. So TeePublic, you should go in there, get your shirts, bags, masks, pillows, anything else you want. Secret Lab chairs, I love mine. The link is there, especially it's the holiday season. Realistically, if you haven't ordered your chair by now, it's not going to get there by Christmas. But if you're looking to spend some of that sweet gift card money that's coming your way from Nana, Secret Lab chairs. Love mine. And there also is still our art, our Exclam BDS art, which you can get your fine museum quality art prints in every one that we sell. We make a donation to World Builders. So you're not just getting something dope, you're doing something dope. We, of course, have our Patreon, which is patreon.com/The Black Dice Society. We have a bunch of side missions, bonus episodes with everyone here. We're recording a new one this Saturday that I'm not going to tell you what we're doing, but it's going to be really cool, and we're going to make it available to every patron regardless of tier. So if you haven't checked out our Patreon yet, please do. Patreon.com/The Black Dice Society. And of course, Die Hard Dice. While you're also spending your gift card money, you can go to dieharddice.com, use code BDS, and get 10% off. Also, and even the cast doesn't know this, we got some new dice coming in January.
Ooh.
We will have new dice to announce when we return in January. And I guess this is as good a time as any to tell you that we're returning in January. So, Thursday, January 13th, minus the unforeseen, we shall return to the lands of the mists. And now that I'm doing this in all the wrong order, because I'm just excited to be back, really, maybe now we should actually introduce who you beautiful humans are. So, let's start at the bottom and come back across the horn with Desmond.
Oh, hi. I'm DJ Knight. I play video games. I'm Desmond. I'm also DJ. Our pronouns are he, him. You're awesome. Ranger. Human.
Lycanthrope.
Those are the important bits.
Those are the important bits. I'm real time recropping you here because like you're
Thanks.
yeah, there it is. We're seeing it happen live. Valentine.
Do it live.
Hi, I am Sage Ryan, but tonight I am playing Valentine. Valentine is a reborn aberrant mind sorcerer, and we both use she, her pronouns. And she's festive today.
Incredibly festive.
This is festive, but also a little bit Blossom on accident.
You know, but okay, that's it. New enemy, new enemy for tonight's episode. His comedy is going to get Blossom, Valentine the Powerpuff Girl.
I think I've got this. Actually, I'm not afraid.
It's pretty sure Blossom can take Mojo. That is absolutely true.
You've got it.
Yep. Also, DJ mentioned we'll do it live. I've told this story a couple times when we did the first episode of Invitation to Party. The teleprompter didn't work. We'd rehearsed so many times and the prompter wasn't on. So we're there like 30 seconds. I'm like, teleprompter's blank. And they're like, 10 seconds. I'm like, prompter's blank. No? Oh, okay. And they're like 10, 9. And I literally was like, okay, we'll do it live. And we did it. That is the studio where O'Reilly threw his we'll do it live freak out. Inside Edition used to shoot in that room back in the day. So there's just teleprompter goblins in that room, I guess, that require you to do it live. So that did happen. Fenn.
Hey, I'm Fenn. Tanya. I'll decide which one I am today later. I don't know. I too am a wee bit festive, mostly because I haven't done laundry since PAX. Fenn is a drow dumpier blood hunter with a little bit of beast in her, and our pronouns are she, her.
You know, again, why not both, right?
Also, let me do a quick shout out to Art and Audio, who gave me a very cute art of Fenn in person.
Hey.
Adorable.
That is
I love
incredible.
that.
Uriah.
Hello, I'm Mark Meir. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, Brother Uriah Macabre, a cleric of the grave and worshipper of Ezra, Lady of the Mists. And I also was fortunate enough to receive a little Uriah sticker from Art and Audio. It's in a book that's still in my suitcase, because I haven't even unpacked from PAX yet.
You haven't unpacked?
I have not unpacked.
No.
Oh, it's that kind of night. It's gonna be that kind of night, y'all. Yeah. Hey, horror takes many forms, okay? Many forms. And last but certainly not least, Nahara.
Hello, everybody. I'm Nora Ibrahim. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Noralogical. And tonight I play Nahara. Nahara is a reborn fallen Azamar undead bardlock. Also, we both use she, her pronouns.
Excellent. And I guess for the first time, I can say non-ironically, MTV's B. Dave Walters. Here to tell host of Invitation to Party on G4, but most importantly, Dungeon Master for our story here tonight. So, with no further ado, let's get to it. Roughly a month has passed since you all returned from the Feywild with your ill-fated but arguably successful mission to liberate Zybilna, the Archfey. You were told if you came into the Feywild to rescue her, she would restore the two women that you loved the most, Isolde and Voronika. When you were confronted with her, she revealed a number of troubling revelations, completely secure in the fact that she was going to wipe all of your memories anyway, so it didn't matter what she confessed to, and you all had no hope of challenging her nearly insurmountable power. But she did not account for Voronika and a certain surprise that she had up her sleeve. After the domain of Prismir was cruelly reconfigured and reconstituted into the dread domain of Kashmar, you all were ejected back out into the carnival, the closest thing you have to a safe haven in the land of the mists. Some time has passed now, and the carnival has moved locations, and it is now anchored on the outskirts of the dread domain of Lamortia, a terrible, freezing place filled with mad scientists, odd experiments, and ice and snow as far as the eye can see. Despite the fact that these are the mists, and as such oftentimes joy is few and far between, Isolde had a reason for coming here in particular now, and that is the midwinter celebration. Fenn, you who have been with the carnival for a while know this is the tradition. Around this time of year, during the coldest of weather and the darkest of nights, the carnival usually visits Lamortia to celebrate midwinter, and it is pretty much as festive as things get around here. But before we dive too deeply into what is happening at the carnival, I'd like to hear from you all. Roughly, how have you been spending the last month since you found yourself returned to the lands of the mists? Now, this time, since I ambushed Desmond with announcing himself, we'll come back the other direction around the horn, starting with Nahara. How have you been spending these last few weeks?
Nahara has absolutely been spending many a day spilling tea with Granny and learning a little more of the ways of the Taroka deck, seeing as how she is a newly appointed College of the Spirit Bard. And I would also say that at some point in that month, I would assume that Nahara and Brother Uriah maybe went on another date. Yes?
Yes. Perhaps I think Uriah tried his hand at making dinner for Nahara on at least one occasion, using the newly discovered recipe for the halfling barbecue that he was gifted.
Oh, yes. And Nahara, being a reborn, absolutely pretended to have an appetite, but did try it, and it was delicious. Yes.
Yes. I mean, you don't need to eat, but you can eat if you want to. Yes. Yes. I would say that I probably also spent a good deal of time with Hildy, having been apart from her for so long. And though she probably is not that eager, it's probably time to start thinking about her schooling as well. So Uriah has probably been teaching her what he can. He has some experience as a school teacher.
Couple of things. Let me get, and I will leave it up to you, Brother Uriah. You can give me either performance or survival for how good of a job you did cooking. And I will let you roll with advantage because I know Uriah put his heart and soul into this. So let's just see how good the barbecue really was.
Very well. Well, I've got a much better bonus on survival, so let's go with that.
Explains how you've made it this far.
Good brisket is a survival skill. Just going to say.
Mm-hmm. The first is a 21. Let's see if I can better that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, or a critical fail. So let's take the 21. Let's take the 21.
You know what I'm gonna say, Brother Uriah? There was a bad batch, but you caught it early. Learned from your mistakes. You know, came back magnifique. Little taste of home.
I do hope you enjoyed it, Nahara.
Oh, it's absolutely delightful. I had no idea how wonderful. Now I understand why you and Desmond were just so adamant about barbecue all the time. Now I finally understand.
Yes, it's old Broadfoot's own recipe.
Is it?
Important point of clarification. Do you share any of the barbecue with Desmond?
Oh, yes. I certainly. The recipe, of course, calls for a very large portion, far too much for 2 people to consume. So, yes, there was certainly plenty to go round.
Let's jump down in the horn here then. Desmond, obviously, some difficult revelations for you. So I guess my first question is, did Desmond even have the appetite for it?
Always. There's always room for brisket. It's not even a question. So, yeah. Desmond spent a lot of his free time trying to perfect his own brisket recipe because of how delectable Brother Uriah's brisket was. He just got reminded, like, he needed to keep his minds off of pretty much everything. So he spent his time working out. He went hunting for a wolf puppy, which is an interesting thing. But most of the time was eating, cooking, sliding plates to people just randomly with no words whatsoever, because he has never been this silent ever. But the few words he did say were guaranteed the thank you to Brother Uriah, and a whole lot of eat this. Just walking past people, drop a plate in front of them, eat this, and just walking off. Because he's in the mood to, like, provide something to someone that is of benefit. Because he's so lost about everything that he considered to be the most important things, that he's trying his best to just keep his head on straight and help other people, while also eating a lot of delicious brisket.
Valentine?
Valentine and Tatiana spent a lot of time training. Before we ventured into the mists, Valentine had access to certain aspects of her abilities, but they were for flair and manipulation for the most part. She had never had to be necessarily in combat up to this point. So she spent a lot of time just kind of firing off at targets, finding deep open woods to watch Tatiana punch trees and fire and fire a firebolt after them. And I think that as well, a lot of time in silence, in a similar sense to Desmond, a lot of time just sitting with Tatiana, grieving in a way that they hadn't gotten to yet. They grieved aggressively when we got to the mists, but this is a very different kind of loss. And doing her best to not in any way take it out on Desmond. So I think she's been a little avoidant of Desmond in particular, because she understands, but her very still heart isn't there yet.
And last, but certainly not least, Fenn.
Fenn has been struggling because the night that she came to Isolde and told her all that Zabelna had revealed, she expected one of two things. Yes, you were going to say something.
I was going to say, important point of clarification. You have told Isolde.
Over the course of the month, yes. It's not like she ran right to her and spilled everything. In fact, those first couple of nights, she avoided everyone. because it's the carnival. She knows where to hide. And eventually, I'm blanking out on our friend's name, our half giant.
Eremos.
Yes. Eremos finally finds her and pulls her out of it. And, over the course of the month, she has finally told Isolde everything. And she's actually tried to spend time with Desmond because that's her friend. And she can tell the pain that he's in. But she's also spent a lot of time looking into Tales of Nepenthe and getting to know the sword, since it has reacted to her before.
So today, we come back. It is very early in the morning. And you all hear a loud snoring. Brother Uriah, you've been attempting to teach Hildy. What would be on the docket today for her lesson, by the way? She's roughly about a 10-year-old girl.
What is the extent of her education? Was she able to read already?
She can read. You can tell most of her upbringing was about just practical survival. She knows a lot of hands-on skills. She knows a lot of carpentry, how to preserve food, how to bind a wound, things like that. But there's been no liberal arts education whatsoever. Like it in the whatever history there is Vladimir Dratkov made made Falkovnia the greatest empire in the world ever. Maybe there was a time that she wasn't here, but we don't talk about it. Her knowledge of the world is fairly limited. But I think you have learned that she's a pretty scrappy girl. You probably could drop her in the woods and she'd make it. Yeah.
I think we will focus on that more liberal arts area then, and perhaps even some art classes. There'll be some. Do we have access to macaroni? Can we make a macaroni art?
As you are attempting to paste these noodles to a plate, you just hear as she is just head back, mouth open, sleeping through your lesson.
Oh, Hildy, Hildy, yeah.
Oh.
Yes. Oh, you're a little fatigued, I see. Perhaps we should continue the lesson another day.
It's just so boring, Brother Uriah. We can do all the fun things at the carnival, and you want to make the art out of the macaroni. Perhaps we could just make the pasta and consume it, yeah? It's good.
I thought this would be a little more fun, since you didn't particularly enjoy the Draconian history lessons or the relative geography of the various domains. Of course, geography is very subjective. I
already know all about the Darkons. They are the enemies that live that way.
Yes, but sometimes cooperation between nations can lead to good results.
You are not the diplomat. I thought you was the diplomat. That is what you were saying before, but I understand you are not the diplomat. You were doing the sneaky to get in and out of Falkovnia.
Yes, that's true. That was a falsehood, and they are wrong, of course. But perhaps we can end the lessons for today. And if you are out and about, do remember to wear your mittens. I know that you don't like them so much for the making of snowballs, but they do keep your hands warm. And we are in a rather frigid climate right now. The Mordia is unnervingly frigid and cold.
It's just like the wind comes and it gets just into your bones, yeah. But the snowballs and the snowmans are very good, yeah. I make the snowman with Ermos, and he makes a snowman that was taller than him. It was so wild. I like it a lot. Brother Uriah, I know you are trying to help me, danke. But do I have to learn all the boring things? Like, I mean, I could just learn just like the fighting and the homemaking. Like,
practical skills are of course important, but this might be fun. Perhaps we could discuss the midwinter traditions. Of course, here in Lamortia, we see how they celebrate. In Darkon, of course, the darkest night was a time for reflection and hiding, mostly hiding. But let's talk about Lamortia. I'm sure you have many, many fun traditions there. There was, as I recall, there's something about some sort of Christmas monster that puts children in a basket on its back.
Yeah, and then they also say this, like, in the land of Lamortia is where, like, the people come and the people are dead and they put them in the device and then the people come back to life, you know? I know you don't know any people that have died and come back to life, Brother Uriah, because that would be very strange. But,
a few, but...
I said, come with me. Come. Let us look at the decorations that are going up. I promise you, Brother Uriah, you have only told the truth to me. I will do my best to learn the boring things that you enjoy talking about.
Of course. Yes, let's make it a field trip then, shall we? Yes, out and about.
She does take you by the hand and sort of lead you out of the tent. Valentine, although it is early, it is as we've established many times over, you don't sleep. It is still earlier than you usually like to get to it, especially when it's just so cold and dark in this place and just generally unhappy beyond everything else. Tatiana left to go hunting before the sun rose, and she's still not back yet.
I am going to we usually establish a telepathic link before she goes anywhere. Obviously, it has a vicinity limit, but from what I understand, she probably usually would try to stay in that range. So I'm going to peek out of... Are we staying in like a tent of sorts at this time? So I'm just going to kind of peek out of the tent and try and make a telepathic link and say, Tatiana?
She does not respond. There have been times, especially in the last month or so, that her method of coping, besides training with you, was just going and being in the woods, and she would turn into some creature and just run. So more than once, she's gone out of range without realizing it. But she is somewhere that you cannot access her currently.
Valentine, and this is before this experience was not normal, but Valentine is just going to kind of go get back into her bed and lay back down with her eyes open.
Important thing. Now that you all are somewhat dignitaries here at the carnival, you would have the ability to have your own quarters if you want, or you could still be in sort of a deluxe tent with everyone else. Are you enjoying shared quarters or your own private thing, Valentine?
In this scenario, there would be enough for like each individual to have their own quarters. I would definitely be sharing with Tatiana. We rarely break apart, but I also would leave that up to everybody else, whether they would prefer to share or not. I think it would depend on safety. If we feel safe here, I would defer to Fenn, Uriah, and everybody's preference.
One question. In the intervening month, Uriah probably would have used his Eyes of the Grave ability to see if Valentine's, shall we say, chaperone is it returned and in the vicinity?
Yes.
Just keeping tabs on its whereabouts.
Yes. I will say one thing that all the rest of you have noticed is when the carnival moved, Pitwick Market did not come with it. Normally, historically, as you all have seen, and Finn, you're intimately familiar with, it sort of builds up over time, essentially, until it kind of starts to choke the carnival to the point that it must move. But this time, there's no sign of it. Finn, you wake up to a familiar sound of shh, 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 shh. of Isolde running the sharpening stone down Nepenthe. When you open your eyes and see her, she's covered in a light sweat. She clearly has already been at this a while. Just shh, 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 shh.
Oh,
Sorry, did I wake you?
not really, but usually someone sharpening a blade means something is going to happen. What time is it?
She leans and sort of looks through a crack in the tent. Says, so difficult to tell here. Even when the sun rises, it barely crests the horizon. The days are especially dark and gloomy. But the snow is lovely.
And I kind of, curl around her and try to still her hands. What has you sharpening the Nepenthe?
The secrets that you have revealed have weighed heavily on my heart. That Zybilna is apparently the source of all my anguish, but I have no recollection of it. And the only thing that remains is vengeance. You say the caller is in Barovia. Are you sure? We have a tradition of spending midwinter in Lamordia, but when we move next, we will go to Barovia. I will find the caller. And she just sort of holds the sword up and looks at it, but doesn't say anything.
I wrap my hand around hers, just holding the sword. The truth. Would you rather I lied to you and not told you? And kept this pain from you?
I realize there are truths that bring no peace, but I'm glad you told me. At least I know why my brothers and sisters died, and I know for certain it was because of me.
Not because of you. You were used, you know that.
She sort of gently pulls her hand away and goes back to sharpening the blade, and you see it starts to glow slightly. And she says, I'm glad at least Zybilna died in terror. And she stops for a second and she looks at you and she says, is it wrong that I actually hope that she finds a way back? I hope she was right and she does find some way to restore herself, because it means that I get to kill her then.
Fenn just smiles. No. But, and I reach out and just gently touch Nepenthe's blade. I wish that I could take this from you. Not Nepenthe, your hurt, your anger.
She looks at you and you can hear her kind of squeeze the hilt slightly, like the leather creaks slightly in her hands. And she just says, I'm very glad you cannot. This is mine to bear. But perhaps, when my final foe lay slain, perhaps there will be peace.
There could be emptiness and suffering.
I cannot believe that you encountered Witch in Light. I can't imagine going back there to that life. Everything's so bright and colorful. I would fit out. I would stand out like a wounded arm.
Like I didn't. Sorry, that was unkind.
I'm going to say something uncharacteristic. Perhaps vengeance can wait a day or two longer. It's midwinter. Perhaps we should celebrate. If only for the crew. Ermos gets so excited about it. He has to wear the costume of that thing with the antlers. A creme.
Krampus.
Oh, what a terrible story. Why would anyone enjoy that?
I don't know. And Fenn is just kind of like sitting there, sheet up over her chest, kind of like, I'm a drow. What do you want from me? But she doesn't say it.
And she goes over and starts getting dressed, and she's like, fine, holiday spirit, festive. It is. And she reaches over and she looks around for a second and she says, I must apologize, my darling. I don't think I have an appropriate garment for you for this weather.
Oh. Well, you could just stay here.
Meanwhile, Nahara, as you are, well, same thing. Where has Nahara been staying during this time?
I think Nahara has established that she kind of likes to loom over some people while they sleep. And so would not give up that opportunity. Also, you know, danger might be lurking. We never know. It usually does. So I think she would not opt for the privacy of her own room. I will say that she has taken to starting off at the dawn with a like daily Taroka pull to see what the day brings.
Well, now you have to. You know that, right? Now we have to.
Okay. Let's do a little shuffle here.
Mm-hmm. Got to finish the year strong.
I know. We got to. Would someone like to tell me when to stop?
Not me. I can't interfere.
I'll do it. Okay. And the next one, stop.
Okay. Priest.
Enlightenment, those who follow a deity, a system of values, or a higher purpose.
Okay.
That's a thing today. Uh-huh.
All right. Nahara just kind of will take the time to reflect on that and possibly see if this has to do with Brother Uriah at all, or maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's doesn't strike me as something terrible yet. So I think it would stay one card.
I will say is your skill with the cards under Granny's guidance has continued to increase, which for the record, you don't know where she is because she's not in Prismere. There's not a Prismere, and she's not here. There's no Pitwick Market, but she's somewhere and she keeps talking to you.
Yeah, you know, usually if, I'll open up a closet or something and she's in there.
As your mastery of the cards are increasing, you are getting more of a sense of whether or not something is roughly positive or roughly negative. She tends to caution you against thinking in terms of good and bad because fate is just fate. And, the wind's blowing and it's kind of how you sail with it.
Right.
But you feel like it's not particularly negative as you read it.
Then I will leave it at that.
Desmond, as you are out on the outskirts of the camp, attempting to forage for some fresh meat for breakfast, give me a perception check.
Refreshing the page. It didn't like me just now. Or I'll just get a die because digital dice hate me anyways. Seems like the better move overall. So yay, proficiency. Hope it helps. And there would not be one right here. Childish. Handful of dice, no d20s.
It bees like that sometimes.
Truth.
We've
There
been
we go,
off. We've been
finally.
off for a month.
11.
You're aware. You've spent enough time in the woods. You're aware of when you're being watched, but you're not quite sure from where. You're probably 200-300 yards from the carnival. Just at the, you have to go essentially far enough that the ambient noise and music don't scare off the game. But you're not terribly far removed. But you're being watched.
Just lowly says,
Now is not the time for games. Show yourself.
After a moment, you hear a familiar voice call out that says, so easily detected. I would say that, I would attribute it to your keen senses, but I spend a goodly amount of time having to sneak up on quarry whose senses might be even keener than yours. And from a nearby tree, it takes a second to recognize her because she's wearing a heavy fur with a hood, but it's Jennifer Weathermay Foxgrove, the more martial of the twins. Her sister Jennifer is the scientist. She's more the blunt instrument, although she's brilliant in her own way. But she just steps out and puts her hands on her hips, and she's like, "This is curious. I would say that I'm pleased to see you again, Desmond, although word had reached my ear that you'd managed to depart these harsh environs."
briefly. Felt like home, or as close as I have to it. So I came back.
You see, she looks at you, and she takes a step forward. She says, "Something has happened.
Yep.
Your demeanor is different."
This is true.
I am no alienist. I don't know to what extent I can assist in matters of the mind or heart. My tool set is far simpler, and she just kind of pats the long sword on her hip. And she says, "But if you need someone to confide in, I am at least capable of keeping my tongue silent when requested."
I appreciate that. How are you, by the way?
She takes a deep breath and blows out a cold gust of breath that you can see. And she says, whew. I hate Lamortia. My sister and I were here on the trail of some behemoth some scientist had allowed to escape its confines. We were successful, of course, but she heard that the carnival was nearby, and she insisted that we come and find you. She brought gifts, actually.
Gifts.
She said she was working on something for Brother Uriah, but then she realized it would be quite disagreeable if she didn't bring something for all of you. You know how Jennifer can be. So, here we are. She got ahead of me, somehow. Don't know quite how she manages that.
Sometimes excitement happens.
Might I be able to offer you something that always cheers my mood?
Go for it.
She pushes the coat back and puts her hand on the hilt of her sword, and she says, "Perhaps a friendly match. Get the blood flowing to help counteract this chilly day. As long as you promise not to hurt me, of course, dear Desmond."
I would love to. Truly. But I fear that I would go too far. At least right now.
See, she looks at you for a second, and she takes her hand off the hilt of her sword. And she comes closer to you. But she stops short of touching you. She's easily within arm's reach, but she doesn't touch you. You know, Desmond, in our line of work, in my line of work, I've seen a number of things I'd prefer I hadn't. I've seen a number of things that I feel no one should. And I have done things of questionable morality in the pursuit of what I hope is the greater good.
I know that feeling. That action.
Our scars do not define us.
True. It's how those scars heal and whether or not they heal. That affects us. That changes us. I'm still trying to figure out how I want this to heal. On one hand, I have supreme trust issues right now. And I would love to fight all of the things. On the other, I have this delicious brisket that I've been trying to get right. I want you to try it for me really quick. And he just hands it to her and says, "Eat this."
Oh my God, heavenly. My sister would not forgive me if I did not share this bounty with her, and she has a gift for you, but would you mind escorting me to the carnival, good sir? I would hate if something were to set upon me in these dark and mysterious woods.
If I remember correctly, I don't think anything would dare.
It wouldn't dare twice.
Didn't think so.
But she does just slap you, kind of just a friendly slap in the gut, and she's like, Come. You and I are not one for moping. Let us at least raise a cup to our honored dead.
Out of character question.
Mm-hmm.
She is the one that is afflicted with lycanthropy, yes?
The other one, Jennifer.
Okay.
The brainy
See,
one.
I thought you said this was Jennifer at first. And in my mind, I was like, I thought she was ready to...
This is Lori. Although the last time
I could have sworn you said Jennifer, and I was like, oh, this is... We got some... No. Okay, cool.
There's a chance I did. There's a chance I made a mistake. This is Lori. This is the fighting one.
No worries.
Yeah, it is Jennifer, the brainy one, is potentially inflicted with lycanthropy. Or at least...
I had that feeling.
Yeah.
But I felt like...
Yeah,
I had mixed the characters, but I was like, I could have worn these.
I apologize if I got tongue-tied. This is definitely Lori. This is the fighty one.
No worries at all.
Yep.
Back in character.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it did, between the two of us, it wouldn't have a good time.
She says, "First pint's on me. Do they even still charge you at the carnival? You're the great hero, Desmond." And she just walks off talking.
I'm not a hero. I am, though, a monarch, which I feel like it suits me.
She goes, "Oh, my lord." And she does strike a very perfect curtsy, because recall when you were in Mordant, they are royalty. They're related to their mother runs Mordant. So they very much deviated from the Weathermay Foxgrove way of doing things to go be monster hunters. So she a proper curtsy there in the middle of the woods. And she's like,
and he just kind of like gently like, "My lady, no need. This is me we're talking about. You're nonsense."
Meanwhile, back in the camp, Valentine, give me a perception check.
$17.
You feel like someone's looking at you, even though you have the flaps of the tent very tightly drawn shut. And a moment later, you hear whispering in your ear. You've received your fair share of messages in your time, so you understand it when it happens. Valentine, I hope I'm not disturbing you. is anyone else in the tent with you?
No one's in the tent, right?
Not currently. Everybody's kind of out doing their thing.
You are. There is not.
Hi. I'm looking for you and your other compatriots. I come bearing gifts.
Who are you?
Oh, might I enter?
No, you're going to answer the question.
Jennifer Weathermay Foxgrove. Jennifer Weathermay Foxgrove. Yes.
Oh. And I'll go and I'll open up the flap of the tent.
And she's like right there. Like when you open, she's like right there. And she's wearing these strange glasses. One has a green lens and one has a red lens. And her nose is even though she's got her brown skin, her kinky hair and her nose both have a little bit of frost on it, and her nose is red, but she has a huge smile on her face, and she is wearing a red coat that is sort of a patchwork of white and red all over it, and she's got a big bag. She's not very tall. She and her sister are identical twins, although Laurie is physically much more powerfully built than she is. She's not much taller than you, though, and she's just, like, smiling. Oh, hello! Might I embrace you? Would that be strange? I realize you and I have not necessarily interacted that much previously,
I'm not much of a hugger, actually.
But midwinter just fills me with the spirit.
I'm just going to summon a little bit of fire in my hand and just kind of, like, hold it near her. Why don't you come in? It seems... Lamortia and midwinter. You're enthused?
Yes, my sister and I were here on work. There was a beast that we had to come and eliminate. We subdued the quarry. We were not able to recover the corpse, which is unpleasant, but I'm sure it's fine. I just wanted to come and find you all before you departed to go elsewhere.
Which way did you come from? Point. Did you see Tatiana? Or any animals that look vaguely like Tatiana?
Blue muscular animals. So, no, but you should probably ask my sister. She's more the tracker person.
Will do. So what can we do for you? I believe everyone is busy at the moment.
What can I do for you? I really meant I've come bearing gifts. And she just like schlups this bag off her shoulder that kind of like hits the ground.
Okay.
And she's like, do you have the ability to summon them hence? So I could perhaps just maybe give them all out at the same time?
Valentine is just going to lean out the flap of the tent and go, Fenn, Desmond, Brother Uriah, and Nahara. We have an intruder. And lean back in.
When you say that, immediately the carnival begins to go on like high alert. You see like people are like grabbing axes and swords and things.
It's fine.
you see in that split second, Lori sort of pushes her coat back, and you see she's got her bandolier of vials, but she's got two hand axes, and she's like, no, not trouble, not intruder, not intruder.
It's the fastest way to get them back to the tent.
Nahara does fly back and plays on her lyre, dun 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 dun, 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 as everybody makes their way back.
There's an uncharacteristic beam of red light behind Nahara as she comes flying in. It's the strangest thing. Yes, the rest of you easily hear this, assuming you come to the call.
Do we all jump in our individually themed vehicles and then all meet up in one spot?
Yeah.
I'll come on foot, probably, bringing Hildy with me, although if I think there's danger, I'm shielding her.
You see when Valentine says we have an intruder, Hildy does have like a club that she carries around too, and she's like,
of course she does.
Yes, she's like, don't worry, Brother Uriah, I will protect you from whatever the intruder is. Yes.
Thank you, Hildy. Much appreciated.
She's like, I should teach you a couple of things here, about the fighting and things. I know you've got the mace, but I don't know. You got the bad form, and so you put too much the arm into it. You exhaust yourself. You must rotate from the hips with the swinging. Rotate from the hips.
Hildy, less talking, more walking. Come.
Oh, yes, coming. Do you know, Hildy, it's funny. I've never actually swung that mace in combat. I don't think I've ever done that.
You see, she stops and just looks at you, and she's like, you have so much to learn. Oh, no. And she just grabs you and walks along. Fenn, same thing. Is you were walking with Isolde, and she is looking as streamers are being hung, stockings. A lot of the crew of the carnival have, taken to wearing whites and reds and greens and festive things. When you hear Valentine call out, you see Isolde looks her direction, and the pith begins to glow brightly, and then she says, not that kind of intruder, and the glow just stops, and she just goes, you are muted, ma'am.
Sorry, I put my hand on the hilt of Nepenthe.
Mm-hmm.
If it is an intruder, can I play with Nepenthe?
She just looks down at the sword, and she says, if it's an intruder during midwinter, by the time I'm done playing with Nepenthe, there'll be nothing left.
Oh, but we could consider it a gift.
You see the sword starts to glow again, and she just goes, you two stop it. All right. And she goes, see to your friend. Dinner?
I don't get to have any fun.
That's dessert. And she winks at you and turns and walks away.
And now Fenn is doubly annoyed at that. And she has her sword out. She's like, there better be an intruder.
As you all get to the tent, Desmond, even you and Lori arrive kind of at about the same time. And you all come into the room to find, in Valentine, you would have watched her do this. The bag she's got, it doesn't look that big. It is just sort of like a shoulder knapsack. But as she reaches her hand into it, you see her arm goes way down into it, and she just keeps pulling things out of it. Way more than you would think should be able to fit in this bag. She's like, I do love midwinter.
Where do I get one of those bags?
And when you come in and say that, you see she turns and looks at you. Desmond, give me either insight or survival.
Ooh, yay.
Yeah, either one.
How to die real quick. All right, cool. Great.
Now, in
Guys aren't
theory, if
showing
you
up
were to
on the
put
site.
someone's head in that bag,
one could what?
21.
I'm just making conversation while she pulls things out of it.
It would work. Jennifer has 0 poker face. When she sees you, you see several things go across her face when she looks at you. The first is surprise, then panic, then fear, then guilt. It's just quick succession. And then she sort of goes, Desmond, hello.
Hi. Why the surprise?
I just was not quite prepared. And Laurie's like, what do you mean you weren't prepared? We knew he'd be here. What? And she's what I mean is, I don't know that I ever properly apologized to you. Even when you all visited my home, you gave me a great deal of clarity about this world and my place in it. And I was previously unladylike towards you. And I truly apologize. And she just very stiffly extends a hand to shake your hand.
No worries. Just shakes it.
Laurie leans over to you and says, you don't know how many times she practiced that speech. And she goes, Laurie,
Oh, I think it's adorable.
And he just kind of leans in and is like, practice paid off. Great work.
And you see, they do both of them kind of greet you all in turn. Fenn and Nahara, Valentine, brother Uriah. You see, Lori does go up. Like most of you, Lori just sort of nods, but she does reach out and hugs Uriah. She's like, come here, you skinny devil. She's like,
yes, a great pleasure to see you. To what do we owe this unexpected gift and of your presence? Your presence of your presence. Yes.
You see Jennifer just like gut laughs, and Lori's like,
Yes, you see what I did there, because the two words they sound the same. Yes, yes.
We come bearing gifts. It is midwinter, and we know that most of you are far from home. Many of you do not herald from these lands, and we didn't know if you had families of your own to exchange gifts for, so we wanted to just make sure you had something.
Oh, very thoughtful indeed, and most generous.
You see, she looks at the packages that are laid in front of her, and she says, who first? Well, I disturbed Miss Valentine, so I suppose you should be the first. And she reaches down, and there is a box that is red like your hair, Valentine. It is almost the identical hue, oddly the identical hue. And she hands it to you. And she says, I mix the colors myself. I hope I got it just right. It's sort of like a sunset shimmer that you have here. You know, it's lovely, lovely color.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little caught off guard, I suppose. This is very nice.
Oh, you got to open it. You got to open it.
Right. And Valentine just kind of like looks around at everyone watching, and we'll just kind of like, okay, and I'll take I don't know if there's like a ribbon or something off of it and open the box.
Inside, there is a glass statue that looks like you. It looks like your hands are out, like you're casting a spell. It is about this tall. She goes, look. And she reaches forward and pops the head off of it. And she says, it's a poison phylactery.
You didn't think that maybe the beheading was a little insensitive? And then she lowers her pearls back down.
I did not.
I love it. Thank you.
And you see, she just sort of stands there for a second. And Lori says, in my sister's defense, she was unaware of... We were unaware.
I appreciate this greatly.
It is a wonderful likeness of you, though, Valentine. She's not unskilled with glasswork.
This is shocking. You haven't spent that much time looking at any... Okay. This is very, very good. Thank you.
You see Jennifer her bright skin, or her brown skin is bright red, though. And she's like, I'm just so sorry. I was trying to give you something that I thought you might use.
I will.
Well, I'm glad you like it.
And Valentine will, in a belated sense, set it down on the nearest surface and then very awkwardly hug her.
You see she freezes for a second, and then when you initiate, she just like triple the energy. Just, oh, you do like it. Oh,
okay, all right.
That's lovely. That is lovely. That is lovely.
Happy midwinter.
Happy midwinter. Okay. Let's see. Next. Nahara. she goes and she like looks over things and she picks up a box that is red and white and covered in stars and hands it out to you. She's like,
Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I wasn't aware of the customs, or else I would have had something for you as well.
oh, no. You don't give a gift to get a gift. You give a gift to give a gift.
That's very kind of you. I'll take a look now. And I'll slowly open.
It is a perfect crystal sphere. It is like a crystal ball, and it is sitting in white silk. She's like, it is a scrying stone, but it is not just a regular scrying stone. It is a memory stone.
What is a memory stone?
Well, when you still your mind and you enter your meditation and you gaze upon it and you attempt to see something from your own past, and on occasion the stone will show it to you. I know that you mentioned to my sister and I that, there were some gaps in your memory. We thought perhaps this might be of some assistance to you.
Oh my goodness, you have no idea how much this means to me. And Nahara will definitely like single tear and just like tackle hug, and with one of her wings bring the other sister in for a group hug.
Right before the wing goes out, Lori looks at you, Uriah, and she goes, "That one was my idea." Whoop! As the wing kind of pulls her in.
This is so beautiful. Thank you.
And you see Jennifer again just goes in for it, and Lori, it takes her a second, but she gives the hug also, and she's like, "Glad that you enjoy it."
Thank you so much.
She's like, "No, you can't." It's Lori who's like, "You can't cry. You're gonna make me cry." No, I don't cry. I'm Lori whether my mouth grows.
It's too late. She's just like bawling.
Right, yeah. And she does just come back in with a bawling hug there. And Jennifer is like, okay. Fenn.
Yes.
She's like leans closer to you and she goes, "So I've made a slight miscalculation with Valentine. I hope I've done better by you." And she pulls out a grayish black, almost an ashen gray box and slides it over to you. And she's like,
Big as the box.
about yay big.
Okay. Well, it's not a sword.
Well, we knew you had a sword.
I can always have more. And I unwrap it and open it.
There's two things. There is a pair of goggles with black lenses that aren't too different from the one she's got. Hers have a green lens and hers have a red lens in them. And she says, I am aware that on occasion a bright light can be discomforting for you, so this will allow you to see wherever you go at a comfortable baseline. And but look under the goggles. There's candy from the Underdark. They're candied spider legs that were a delicacy when you were growing up. But there's 8 candied spider legs that are almost like candy canes, almost, but they just curved and they're dipped in kind of a sugar similar to that, but they're dipped in a sugary confection that only comes from underground. These are the real thing, though.
And Fenn is actually a little bit overwhelmed because she has not seen these since she was much younger. And she just closes the box and just hands it to Desmond.
And you see before you say anything, Jennifer kind of starts to panic for a moment, and she goes like, we bartered with some traders. They swore they were authentic, but if they don't meet your criteria, I'm sure we can find something else.
Desmond just takes the box and just kind of opens them and just, wow, and just kind of leans in the Fenn and just, whoever made these must be very serious about their love for Loth, because these are impressive. And he just kind of hands them back. Thank you.
Yeah. You realize, Desmond, they would have come from a pretty big spider. I mean, the legs are about 8 inches each. Finn, you know, the spiders get much bigger.
Oh, I know. And her handing it to Desmond wasn't out of anger.
Mm-hmm.
It was to give them a grateful bow and thanks.
Mm-hmm.
She's not a hugger.
Also, Desmond has been doing some research into like the Underdark and understood a little bit about the system of the hierarchy down in the Underdark, just because of his relationship with Fenn, and wanted to understand where she came from. So it was just like, that's got to be sweet.
You see,
that is
go ahead.
Not a gift. Oh no, just Fenn looks at Desmond. That's not a gift given lightly.
I'm sure. Given the importance of Loth and her teachings, that wouldn't that be like what are the top families called? I'm not sure. I remember like that would be like one of the top family gifts that you would even have to even be able to get those. And he just kind of looks and just, that is a fantastic gift, and just like kind of just like bows back again.
You see Jennifer steps forward like she's gonna hug, but Lori just kind of puts a hand out and stops her and just kind of like looks at you, Finn, and just nods.
Yeah, I just give them both a very regal bow.
Mm-hmm. And they both return it again, showing the quality of their upbringing. Even though they're these rugged adventurers, they both like, strike it out of nowhere.
And I give the more fighty sister a little bit of dap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lori brings it in for sure. Jennifer looks at you, Desmond, and she says, I wasn't quite sure. The best thing to do. So I went with something that I thought you'd enjoy in something that I thought you could use. And she slides a green box over towards you.
Desmond grabs it and just, is there wrapping on it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so he unwraps it and cracks up the top.
Inside, there are 2 vials. There is a vial of a green liquid and a vial of a red liquid, and they both glow faintly. And she says, I've heeded your wisdom of accepting what we are and making the most of it. But there are times, no doubt, that it would probably be helpful to be able to suppress our gifts, and she motions towards the green vial, or embrace our gifts, and she motions towards the red vial.
I have an idea of what's happening here, but can you give me a little bit more detail about one, the red one, which I feel like personally, I feel like that should have been the green one.
She's like, well, okay. She's like, well, I just, Jennifer told me not to, be myself and say too much. Okay, okay. So the green vial, you see, it will utterly suppress your lycanthropy. For 12 to 24 hours. I'm not sure. It is difficult to get test subjects for such a thing. But the red vial will greatly enhance your lycanthropy for an equivalent amount of time. I'm also not quite sure what that looks like, because you can imagine testing that also was... But I can guarantee the results. Simply not the timing.
Hey, I'm not likely to use the red one. But life is life. There may be a day. I don't foresee ever really being excited for that day.
But you have the option. Huh.
Sure.
And Jennifer just like, wait, the other one's from me. Look further in. There are strips of a meat you don't recognize and a vial of seasoning. And she looks over and she says, Shadowfell jerky, 500 years aged.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And just he kind of picks one up and just, okay. And he just grabs the spices and now what about this?
It is one of the spices that is used in the process of marinating the meat. It is it will cause it to last substantially longer, possibly indefinitely.
Wait, what to last possibly indefinitely?
The meat that you season with it will stop your food from going to waste.
That explains why you just gave me 500-year-old jerky. Oh, this is good. He just opens it and just... Wait. I wasn't prepared for gifts, but I have been practicing with the thing. He kind of pulls out his special stash of brisket. This is like the pièce de résistance that he's been working on this entire time, that he's been like saying 2 words to people. I feel like this is the most Desmond spoken in a conversation the entire month.
Mm-hmm.
And he just hands you the whole thing. Just, I can make more of this. I have my recipe. Share this with your sister. Because these are getting tested tonight.
Jennifer takes it and very much gives you the bro hug. And you see there are 2 packages left. And they will, suppose Tatiana isn't here. We could leave this for her, that she can open it when convenient. But Brother Uriah, she hands you a red and white box. You are muted, sir. Mm-hmm.
Like this one?
Exactly like that one.
Oh, yes. All right. Well, thank you so very much. Oh, I see.
I've been diligently at work on this one.
Oh, yes. Yes, quite remarkable. Should I just pull these out, or would you care to describe them?
No, please. Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes, these are excellent. Yes. I've certainly admired yours, and I assume this aids in investigation or examination.
And it will allow you to be able to see in the dark. I know we have these frail human eyes, and that will help you tremendously. Also, I used leather straps, so they will remain firmly in place, perhaps when you are investigating or looking or dodging or fleeing for your life. Fleeing for his life. But yes, they should serve you well.
Oh, lovely. I'm amassing a collection of these things. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so very much. In return, if I may,
Yes.
I will cast... I'll cast guidance on... it was Jennifer who made them, yes?
Jennifer made them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I will cast guidance. And may Ezra guide your path.
Oh, thank you. There is one last thing. And Lori just sort of reaches behind her and pulls out a small white bundle and hands it to you, Uriah.
Ooh. Yes, I'll open it up.
It is a small handwritten journal, and in the front of it, on the very front page, it says, "To a brave and dashing servant of Ezra, until we meet in person, may this light your way. RVR."
Oh my God! Oh my gods! Oh goddess!
Yes.
This is from the doctor himself.
Yes. He's begun assembling his notes for a new manuscript for the next book, and he wanted us to give you a copy of the notes. Yes.
Oh, I'm so very honored.
You look lightheaded. Do you need to sit down?
Yes, I do.
Nahara was ready to catch Uriah if he fainted.
This is very, very generous, and thank you both so very much.
You see, as you're standing there, Hildy says, "Oh, it's just a book. I don't know if I was getting just so upset about the handwriting number. Where is Tatiana, by the way? I want to know what her gift is. Shouldn't she be back by now?"
She should, yes. We've been taking longer days in the woods lately. She's probably just training.
Yeah. No, they told me do not enter the woods here in Lamordia. They say it is full of the monsters and the creeping things. It's just the animals are very dangerous because they're hungry and starving. They also say there's the cannibals in the woods. You also should avoid those as well. And then the mad scientist makes his things and just turns them loose into the mountains afterwards. I'm sure none of those things happen to Tatiana though. She's so strong. I want to be like her when I grow up. Yes, look, I've been doing some push-ups. Watch. And she does stop and immediately just starts doing push-ups.
Tatiana has not succumbed to those things. Tatiana is the thing that you should be warned about.
Yes, Hildy. Actually, I was thinking. I know that you seem more interested in martial training than, shall we say, book learning. But perhaps we might have a word with Tatiana when she returns. I'm sure she'd be only too happy to give you some pointers and perhaps spar with you. But we'll tell her to go easy. She sometimes likes to win, even against children.
She told me about the children in the Feywild, and but they were very disrespectful. No, I will show her nothing but respect before I defeat her myself. She does not know how strong the children of Falkovnia are. Yes, I don't know about the Feywild, but where we come from, we just yes.
Yes, I would keep any trash talk to a bare minimum when you're dealing with Tatiana.
I immediately look at Valentine for just.
And Valentine takes a deep breath, and she's just a child. She's just a foolish little child.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Fenn slides Hildy a silver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm betting on you.
Yeah, she takes it and she goes, "You're going to make your money back, I promise you." Yeah,
Nahara's just taking extra brisket during this entire exchange.
You see Lori and Jennifer, you finish exchanging pleasantries as you've given the gifts out and everything. They just say, "Oh, well, I suppose we've dallied long enough. There was a beast that we slew, but its body tumbled off the mountainside. We should probably go recover it. The professor doesn't want us to leave trash behind, especially in a place like this. Someone's likely to come along and reanimate it."
Yeah, so what manner of creature was it?
Well, the locals, it's funny, the girl is not completely inaccurate. We were told it was a cursed man who had turned to cannibalism in some transformation had overtaken him, some sort of curse. We saw him. He's, 8 foot tall, multiple heads, claws, the standard fare. But, yes.
Multiple hits.
But you defeated it.
They look at each other and they're like, yes, no, it's definitely defeated it, yes. It could not have survived the blow.
Valentine gets much closer to Jennifer is the one who was giving the gifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
She gets much closer to Jennifer's face, just right here.
Mm-hmm.
You defeated it, right?
Well, I used my magic and my sister struck such a blow that it hurtled off the mountainside. Nothing could have survived.
So it's not dead.
You didn't check the body.
How tall of a mountainside?
We couldn't get to it. There was woods and water. Like, we're going to go now. We'll recover it. I mean, it's probably wild animals have eaten it or something. It's sure. And they look at each other again, and they're like, it's.
Valentine pushes past her and out the flap of the tent.
Desmond's right behind her and just kind of yelling out like, so you thought it's not dead too? Because I feel like it's not dead.
As they go, Uriah will turn back to Jennifer and Laurie and say, if you do require assistance in your search, well, it's certainly the least I can do. I would be honored.
It's, again, I'm certain the beast was slain. But yes, we've got to go back out. We would love to have the company. It'll be a nice midwinter jaunt then, right?
Yes.
Finn, you said you were saying something?
I was just confirming that it's probably quite alive. Or again.
When you say this, Finn, Laurie looks at you and she's like, we're the Weathermay Foxgrove sisters. We're legendary monster hunters. We would not be so sloppy as to do something like that.
And I just lean into Jennifer's face. You didn't kill us.
You're not a monster. And she looks like right at your fangs. And she just sort of like,
that's what you think.
Nahara is very much standing behind them in full view of Fenn, and we're like, "Oh no, we're going. We are going."
She's like,
oh, fine.
She's like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm telling you, it's going to be nothing. You'll see. And there, as you all set out into the cold, snowy morning to go recover the carcass of this thing that is definitely dead and has nothing at all to do with why Tatiana hasn't come back, is a very good place for us to take a little break. So we'll take a quick 10 and we will be right back. Don't go nowheres. you all are tromping through. Oops, hold on a second. Movie magic. There you go. As you all are tromping through the ice and snow of Lamortia, you can all give me survival checks. And Desmond, you can roll with advantage. I'm pretty sure you might have anyway, but even if you didn't, you can.
I've got advantage on survival. How? I don't know.
Well, you know how to hunt blood. 22.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Nat 20.
Natural 20.
15.
Would you believe another nat 20?
Hey.
You see,
I'll balance it out. I've gotten 11.
You can have my second. It was like 16.
Important point of clarification, Valentine. I must know. This is probably ankle deep snow. Is Valentine still rocking the heels, or have you deployed more sensible winter footwear?
No, she's absolutely still in the heels.
The
1,000%.
sensible.
They leave beautiful tracks in the snow.
That's true. They do.
And my body is cold and dead anyways.
You see, as you're walking along, Jennifer does say, well, if we come across those tracks, we shall know that Valentine was the one who was here. Yeah, bravo. Yes.
You're welcome. Valentine is like straight ahead. And that's probably also why she's doing a bad job of survivaling, the technical term, because she is just like charging forward into a terrain she doesn't know.
You notice the Weathermay Foxgroves are guiding you to where they had the fight with this thing, but they are both completely relaxed. Like while they're out here, they're kind of cold, but Jennifer is making snowballs and throwing them at you. You can see, Jennifer is doing that. Laurie is less festive, but you can tell. You particularly know, Desmond, that obviously she's hunted a lot of things. That she's just like, it's all right, it's like it's gonna be fine. Brother Uriah and Nahara, through your powers combined here, you notice a couple things about Falkovnia. Not Falkovnia, Lamortia, sorry. It's true. I'm like, surprise!
Nahara's gonna be like, where are we?
Dun, 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 dun. Bloodesca Drakov all burned. It's like, round through,
The Terminator.
And then plant tentacles,
Yes.
Which is never gonna come up ever again.
Sure not.
As is the fact that Desmond ate a big chunk of that plant, which again, y'all think I forgot because it was like 25 episodes ago.
Wasn't even a big chunk, just saying. It was only a walk, I think.
I mean, it was a werewolf mouthful, an angry werewolf mouthful. That's a significant hunk of plant matter.
I don't think he's taking small bites.
Yeah. No, he didn't. No, no. So
I mean, he can be a refined werewolf with a pinky up when he's eating anything.
With a monocle. A werewolf with a monocle. That's my next.
I need that artwork. Just saying.
That's my
I want that.
Art and audio. You know what you have to do. Werewolf with a monocle, pinky up. That's my next character concept, by the way. Next one. Werewolf with a monocle. I'll make him a silver fang. So.
Indeed.
Quite. Right? Yeah. So, I mean, it does sort of write itself.
It does.
Truly.
So, here in Lamortia, so you all have experienced a lot of different places. For the most part, life is not overly abundant in the Miss. As you as you all have encountered repeatedly. There were places where it was bountiful in Falkovnia, again, near in the vicinity of the Body Taker plant. Obviously, it was teeming almost to excess in the Feywild. Here, there is about as many living things as you would expect to encounter in the Prime Material, but none of them are doing well. Most of them are starved and ragged. Most things you spot are sort of mangy and have patchy fur. And a significant, disturbing number of them have clearly been subjected to some kind of experiment. Scraggly wolves and things that just clearly have large stitches up and down their arms and legs and backs. creatures where there's birds, but there's a different kind of bird head on the body, like a mockingbird head on a blue jay body, like flies by and lands. It is not so different than from the tent with the pickled punks so far long ago. It's just the life that is not suffering from the cold is suffering from human hands, basically.
This is rather disturbing.
I'm sorry.
Poor creatures.
It was the creatures that what was happening to them exactly?
It's
So
just,
it looks as though. Oh, go on.
it's honestly half of them are starving because Lamortia is pretty much always freezing cold. The other
The
half
animals.
of them, the animals, yes.
Okay.
The other half of them have been subjected to basically Frankenstein-style experimentation. Just stuff has been done to it. Like nothing looks either healthy or happy as you're encountering things out in the woods.
Everything is wrong here, and I hate it.
What? This is. I mean, it's sad enough to see animals that have clearly had trouble finding food, but I don't understand what the rest of this seems to be.
It's utterly monstrous what's been done to these creatures. I'm certainly glad Tatiana's not here to see this.
What you don't see is any sign of Tatiana, but specifically, although again, as you all know, her tracks could be anything. However, you do see signs of something very large having come through here. And you notice both Laurie and Jennifer, their cavalier attitude kind of drops, and you see kind of the ice water going into their veins. Is kind of like both of them have pushed their coats back to easily reach their swords, but neither of them have drawn their blades. And as you all are kind of remarking on how bad this is, they just say, yes, it is the largely the work of Dr. Vitra Mordenheim. She is the lord of these domains. She fancies herself a scientist, not really of a moral variety, and from her on down, it's, they say the only inexhaustible resource in Lamortia is flesh. Terrifying prospect.
We're going to kill her.
What?
They do like stop and they kind of look at you, Fenn, and they're like, I don't know that that's even possible, but
Why not?
they say she's transcended life and death, although I suppose if the stories you all shared with, well, aside, would you all have told them what happened to Zybilna? If you don't
No.
tell them, they have no way they would know. So, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Nahara wouldn't have a reason to.
Right.
There hasn't been enough time to really
yeah.
tell them.
Yeah.
They just say it's, well, you all are grand adventurers. It definitely this place could stand to be set to rights, although who knows what would replace it were she toppled.
He's doing cruel, heinous things here, though.
I feel like we're getting way ahead of ourselves. I thought we were out looking for this one individual that you threw off a cliff.
Yes,
The creature and Tatiana.
And Tatiana. We are looking for
Yes.
the body of the creature, which is undoubtedly slain. And she motions towards a high cliff, and you see it's about 100 feet in the air. She's like, I struck it myself right up there, and it plummeted into this grove of trees, where Nahara, you and Uriah can see something big has been moving in those trees. She's like, surely
Desmond,
we will find its body ahead.
those tracks over there, would you take a look at them? They likely belong to the monster, but could also belong to Tatiana. They were much better at this sort of thing.
Absolutely, you can roll, Desmond. But yes, Brother Uriah, you're about to say something. There's one other thing that Uriah and Nahara see, but we'll come to that in a second. You were about to say something there, Brother Uriah.
Just wanted to ask, Miss Weathermay Foxgrove, this is to Jennifer. You say that this is a man under some sort of curse?
That is what we were told, yes.
And the multiple heads, I suppose that's a manifestation of said curse.
Such as it is, yes. He was yay tall. His body was bulbous, lumpy, tumorous, you might say. Multiple heads, very large teeth, long claws.
And as far as you know, he is still one of the living, yes?
Jennifer looks over at Laurie and she just says, "When I struck it, it bled."
I see. I wonder if it might be possible. There's a chance that I might actually be able to free him from his curse, even if temporarily.
She sort of, they sort of look at each other and look back at you and they're like, "Truly, we haven't found redemption to be a valid outcome in many of our encounters, but if there is some way to save this poor soul, have at it." Although, Brother Uriah, you see, Laurie says that, but Jennifer clearly kind of looks disturbed by it. She's like, "Brother Uriah, what you profess certainly seems like a mercy. But if this person has done terrible things, and are they restored? Are we doing a kindness? What if they could not live with what they've done?"
Yes, perhaps you're right. Still,
you are the theologian, not I. Whatever you believe, if there is some way to save this man, assuming those stories were even so, it is worth trying.
Yes, I think you're right.
Though I will say, from our just previous experience, removing a curse does not always mean that that person is aligned with anything we're doing in any way. They still might be a dangerous person.
Yes, but they might be somewhat less formidable, stripped of the arcane and supernatural power of their curse.
Right. I suppose we'll see when we get there.
There is one other thing the two of you see, Nahara. Well, Desmond, what did you get on that tracks roll, by the way?
I was trying to remember what I was even rolling for, so I didn't know what to add.
Survival.
Oh, is that the same one from earlier before the break?
No, this would be a different one. This was the one before 19. Was to find. Okay. You do see very large wolf tracks that deviate towards the mountain, towards the where this thing came from, but you sort of lose them heading up that way because it kind of gets like craggy and uneven where the snow's fallen. Nahara, you notice up and down the mountain there are odd it is like side by side indentions that have just slid down the hill, and they're all over the cliffs, where it's like almost like a actually I don't think any of you have been in a place where you would see what it was like. Just like
skidding down the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Would this possibly be, our person we're looking for if they had fallen and stumbled?
When you pointed out to them, Laura's like, "No, it was careening through the air and smashed into those trees. I don't." It's almost like sleigh tracks, skis.
How far away is it? Is it something where like myself or possibly Fenn and I could go check it out and come back?
Yeah, well, with you could easily fly.
Well, I would like to go see what that is. Fenn, would you like to come with me?
Yes, Brother Uriah, I was saying one of the other things you notice are odd pairs of essentially almost like lines in the snow coming down the hills up there, which, and then Uriah being from Darkon gets pretty cold. You've seen skis and sleighs in your time down the side of the cliff where the creature had been thrown off of.
Yes, the northernmost portions of Darkon. It is rather a large domain, but do these tracks intersect with where we think this thing landed?
No, actually. In Nahara, as you take flight and lift up, it does seem like they came down more in the direction of where you are. The trees are, another 50 feet or so ahead. However, as you're looking over that, there is a bit into the middle of the grove, like something big fell there. Like essentially the sisters are telling you, we killed it, it fell over there. As you fly up over the trees, there is a hole in the trees, like something big smashed through the trees.
Oh, I think I see it.
Well,
I think I see it over there.
Fenn did join you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Desmond just kind of pings out you all see these wolf tracks is still right, like the skis, yeah, but also these wolf tracks that led and kind of branched off.
Now that you can see them both, and the wolf tracks essentially end where the ski tracks end, because the skis would have been coming down the mountain, the wolf tracks would have gone towards them, and they both just stop. There's no more wolf tracks, no more ski tracks.
So you know what happened. I'm not the only one that sees that whoever was coming down got attacked by that wolf. Anybody?
Yes, I see it.
Just checking.
Yell down. Is there blood?
No, there isn't any blood. However, both Fenn and Nahara, please give me a perception check.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh, I'm so glad I have advantage.
12?
18.
12, 18. You both hear and as you turn and look towards the trees, an uprooted tree comes hurtling up towards you. It misses wildly, but just flies through the air past the two of you.
That's rude.
Somebody just threw a tree at us.
Mm-hmm.
See, Jennifer,
I want to see if Desmond's changed.
when you say that, Jennifer and Lori look at each other and they just go, and they both draw their swords and go running towards the trees. They don't say anything else. Just go take off running.
I will also take off running.
Desmond changes while running.
If I see that happening and I don't have to say anything, I will also swan dive towards that.
Right.
Is you all come along, all of you see at the same time ahead of you 3 pairs of eyes. One of them is looking up towards the sky at Fenn and Nahara. The other 4 are looking ahead towards you. And you all hear a it is not a language any of you understand, but it is a language you have heard before. All of you give me a wisdom check.
Hmm.
About a 15?
That's a 23.
Woohoo! 17.
I will also in doing so cast comprehend language.
Excellent. Hold on. I have to check one thing myself here. Brother Uriah, you recognize this as the language that you heard Will of the Feywild speaking in his vision. in the vision you saw when he was saying something, none of you understood what he was saying, but it sounded like this. Valentine, after you cast Comprehend Languages, back again. Think you finished me off. This time I crack your head and eat your bones.
Sorry, the context of when you're going to do that is unclear. Have you already done that to someone, or are you about to do it to us?
You all... What does it sound like when Valentine speaks giant?
I hate this.
It's the holiday
I would say
episode.
it's still shockingly like clear. It's just like a little bit deeper. So it's more of like are you going to do a toss, or is it?
You see all three heads stop and turn and look at Valentine, and they just go, "Ooh, you speak our language. We eat you last, I think." And
I would like to already be firing off something. Thank you very much.
Everybody roll initiative.
Yay.
And we choose violence.
Mm-hmm.
When do we not?
True.
I love that
21.
about us.
Finn, say 21.
Yep.
Actually, hold on a second. Let me.
I'll put it in chat.
You
Lucky 7. Lucky 7.
I appreciate Uriah's like, I can save him, and the rest of you were like, gag. Okay, Finn, that was 21. Okay, Valentine.
That is an 8. What did I have? An 18? What did I put in chat? An 18.
18. Desmond.
That would be 11.
11.
I also have an 18, so I don't know how you want to.
Yeah, well, the Lori, and Jennifer also have an 18. Uriah, you said 7. Okay, all right, and then 18. And Tatiana, no here. Okay. Actually, between Nahara and Valentine, I have no idea who has the higher dex. So I say between the two of you, I guess.
Probably not me. I've only got a 12 in dex.
Oh, I got a 16.
All right. Well, Nahara with the Air Force. Technically, this is all happening simultaneously. Although, hang on, wait. Let me see when the monster's gonna go. Ooh, the monster got a natural 20.
No.
Well,
I don't like that.
There goes that.
Yeah.
I thought I was about to do something.
Happy holidays, y'all.
I mean, you still are. Hey, at least they got the natural 20 on that, and not on like cracking somebody's head.
Right.
You see this multi-armed, multi-limbed, just monstrosity reaches out and starts grabbing chunks of wood and trees and just starts slinging literally chunks of debris in every direction out towards all of you. I need all of you to make a dex save.
Okie dokie. 17.
That's a dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Was this a DC 5 save? Because otherwise I didn't make it.
As my youngest used to say, incorrect.
I've got a
14.
17.
17, 14. How many hit points does Nahara have? Just asking for science.
51, but she's about to bonus action a form of dread with some temp hit points.
Okay, so here's the problem, y'all.
Uh-oh.
I realize this is the holiday episode, so you would think that means I should be merciful.
Bold of you to assume.
But it's the holiday episode of the Black Dice Society, and therefore I cannot be. Everyone, you know what? Minor charity. Everyone who got a 17 or above takes 18 points of slashing damage. Everyone who got 16 or below takes 36 points of slashing damage. It's just rocks, wood, ice, just whips
How many
out.
points of damage was it? Sorry, it was. How many?
You made the save, so 18.
18.
Okay.
I want y'all to know I lowered the difficulty and the damage. See? Come on. Happy
Can-
holidays, everyone.
Can I hellish rebuke that?
Does Hellish Rebuke say when you're damaged or when you're attacked?
When I am damaged, I believe, yes.
Yep, then yes,
Damaged.
you absolutely can
Okay.
Hellish Rebuke it.
Okay, I am going to do that. So they've got to make a dex save.
Perfect. What's the number they need to beat? Oh,
14?
they got a big old 1. So,
Yes!
Yep. Go ahead and Hellish Rebuke away. Mhm.
Okie dokie. Let me just get my dice here real quick. Gonna use my Die Hard dice set.
Mhm. As we hear the song of your people in the background.
24 points of fire damage.
Again, man, Tregram is
No
talking
one's
up
talking to you, Seja.
I was about to say Tregram's talking up a storm. That's why he's like, no one has consulted me about
Tregram's
any
like,
of this.
yeah, exactly.
How many points of damage?
I'm sorry, what did I just say? 20s,
24.
24. Thank you.
Nahara, your flames erupt and you all see them shoot down and illuminate this wooded area where it is, although it's now thrown a lot of the trees around it. You all see this thing clearly, and when the fire hits it, it howls. All of the heads scream, and not in unison, as it bubbles and singes. And you see Jennifer flips down one of her lenses over her goggles, and she's like, Uriah, did you see that?
Did I'm afraid I was being hit in the face with a big piece of wood. What was it?
Seems to have reacted quite negatively to flames, although most living things do, of course, but it seems like it did not like that one bit.
Place, yes. Fire bad. Fire bad.
I shall make a note of that for the next book. Fire bad. Yes. Valen, well, we established Nahara's got the higher dex, so that was Hellish Rebuke as a reaction. So it is actually it is Finn's turn. Finn had the 21. Sorry. Between the two of you, Nahara will go first, but Finn will act next. Again, this thing stands about. You know what? I'm gonna give you all a picture in our group chat over here of what this thing looks like.
Fun.
Because it's
Ooh.
it's delightfully awful. Again, it stands about 8 feet tall. It's got multiple arms, but its arms have arms branching off of it. One of the branching arms has a hand. There's odd fingers that aren't connected to anything in particular. There are eyes and mouths all over it. It is just a combination of just terrible stuff.
I have painted a few of these, yes.
I've painted
They
one
are
of
gnarly.
these.
Technically, it is not exactly the thing you think it is. That's why I'm not putting the picture up for everybody.
Gotcha.
But it's not that.
Good to know.
I hate it.
Yep. However, Finn, it is your turn.
Thanks, I hate it. I'm putting those new warlock powers to use, and I'm hitting it with an Eldritch Blast while I am flying above it.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll it.
Eldritch Blast always hits, right?
No, got to roll for it. You have to roll for
Oh.
each beam, but
Yeah.
each beam has a chance of critting, so that's why it's good. Or
Okay.
you can target multiple opponents with each beam.
Well, the digital dice failed me, so I'm rolling one digitally. Screw that dice.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I'm rolling with actual dice. Oh my god, that was digital dice shell. That was an 18. Does it hit?
That is enough to hit it.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll the damage. That is a 6 on
Oh.
that one Eldritch Blast that hit it.
Perfect. You see the blast shoot out. One of them goes a bit wide and hits a tree and splinters it. The second one hits this thing, and it just continues roaring and hissing that I won't do so I don't deafen you all.
Please don't.
You know, one of the heads, one of the smallest heads, is saying a number of unkind things about your parents, Valentine. Yeah.
Rude.
Awesome.
Yeah. Is that it for you, Fenn?
Yes. Depending on
bonus
what.
action dread form?
Oh, I thought I'd already done dread form, but yeah, sure.
Yep. You didn't technically say it out loud, so there you go.
All right. I will also give myself some temp HP. Ha.
All right. Now you have done a dread form. Excellent.
Yes.
Nahara, that is what you see, but you're in the air over the clearing, basically.
Wait. So, did that creature just take damage from Fenn?
Yes. It's taking damage from you too.
So, right, but she did dread form, so I think it has to make another wisdom save.
She did the dread form after she damaged it.
Oh, after. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It is my turn. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I will bonus action take dread form first.
Now that you are back in Ravenloft, remind us all what your dread form looks like here in the mist.
Nahara's eyes turn white, and her wings take on it's like the entirety of her body is on fire, but especially her wings.
You notice when it sees you erupt into flames, it visibly recoils.
Oh, good. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want. Okay, cool. Now I know you sent us this artwork, but just for point of clarification, is this creature wearing metal of any sort?
Let's let
Any
fate,
armor,
let's let fate decide.
Okay.
Yes, you can see there's like the remainder of what once might have been greaves, like if he was wearing if he had armored leggings on, that have kind of ripped off, just a couple of odd plates and things stuck to its legs. I think I know what you're about to do, and I want you to know I'm here for it.
Perfect, because you see all of these flames erupt in her dread form, and she just hurls it back at this creature with her fiery hands as Nahara casts heat metal.
That is the cruelest thing I could think of, and therefore I love you
and
for
I
it.
Believe that is a roll to hit.
Yeah, let me double check.
I believe, it doesn't. I don't see any saves.
I think it just is. I think you just start.
Does it just?
Yeah, the armor, the item just starts heating up, and then
Amazing.
The burden is on the person to get away from the object, not
cool.
If a creature.
Okay, and this is a concentration. Okay, then. So I guess I will roll for damage then.
Yes. Hang on. Yeah, 2d8 fire when you cast the spell.
It's 3d8 for I'm doing it at 3rd level.
Strong girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ooh. 18 points of fire damage.
Excellent.
And then it will have to make let me see what save it is again for Form of Dread. I believe it's a wisdom save.
What does it need to beat?
14.
Let me double check something here. It actually makes the save. It is not unwisdomous. Yep.
Okie dokie.
Mm-hmm.
Then that will be the end of my turn.
Perfect. Valentine.
Excellent. I love how we're doing with the fire here. I love this response that we're getting. I'd like to twin spell firebolt, please.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, roll them both.
Okay, that is a dirty 20 to hit and a 17 to hit.
Those both hit.
Excellent. That'll do 4d10 of fire damage.
Oof.
That's exactly the response I was hoping for.
Also, mage armor lasts 8 hours, so I'm fine having said you've cast it at some point already, but remind us what Valentine's mage armor looks like.
31 points of damage before I lose that number in my head.
Oof.
And Valentine's mage armor actually often changes. It's not in any way consistent because it depends on kind of the occasion, right? To go with the outfit. But in general, it takes this kind of like shining plated, it starts at her shoulders and comes kind of out to a point at it. And the brims of it look almost pearlescent. It looks like fine dishware almost in it. And it kind of layered falls down almost like dense ruffles to it over her shoulders and chest. And then it has two plates that go separately down each of her legs in the same kind of pearlescent finish.
When you hit it with these twin spells, one of the heads looks at you and says, now we're gonna eat you first.
It's fine. And by the way, you're right, my parents were terrible.
the rest of you, of course, are you know, it's just like, yep. You all have been around Valentine enough. You know Sass when she's doing it, though. Yeah. You do hear Tregram pipe up and is like, hi, didn't mean to interrupt. You have an astonishing command of the giant language. I didn't know that you could be so cutting in so many different ways.
Thank you. I suppose there's always time for compliments.
Yes. I just rolled a 1 on something, so I'm not really clear on what's happening here. Just let me know if I can be of any use to you.
Helpful as always, Tregram. Thank you.
I literally live to serve. All right. Desmond. Wait, oh, hang on. No. Oh, yeah, the monster was up there. Oh, the Weathermay Foxgroves. They're gonna go. I don't know how I had them in there. Okay. You see Jennifer looks at you, Valentine, and she says, well, I think that's a capital idea. And she holds both hands up and fire bolts leap out of the palm of each hand, slamming into this thing and like blowing it backwards. And Jennifer runs in and starts weaving through its legs where the metal is starting to like sizzle and hiss on the front of it where it was like plated, and just like slashing at the back of its hamstrings. Just like, Brother Uriah, you've been reading about the Weathermay Foxgroves for quite some time. They're astonishing. Like you haven't really seen them do what they do until now. But it's like, you notice they don't say a word to each other. They just understand. It's like Jennifer goes to shoot and Lori is in the way, and then Lori just isn't in the way. It's just they are completely in sync with each other. They are just all over this thing.
Oh, that's their famous maneuver 23.
She stopped. Jennifer said, from the book, it's number 23. This is exactly, this is what it's for. Yes.
I hope you do. My sister needs help. That's a good one.
Well, I hope I don't need to do My Sister Need Help. Your sister does need help. Oh, yes. Sorry. She turns back towards it. Desmond, it is your turn.
Desmond immediately casts Hunter's Sense. He hasn't done it yet. But,
Hunter's Sense or Hunter's Mark?
Hunter's Sense.
What does that do?
He's never done it. Mm-hmm. He's always cast Hunter's Mark, but Hunter's Sense is an action. Choose one creature you can see within 60 feet. Mm-hmm. You immediately learn whether the creature has any damage immunities, resistances, or vulnerabilities, and what they are. If the creature is not hidden from divination magic, you can use this feature one time for a long rest. And I imagine after a month, we've had a good long rest.
You know it is immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons. You know it cannot be frightened or poisoned. You also know that it will heal from literally anything except acid or fire, which is why Lori couldn't kill it. Because she probably did kill it. It was dead when it fell off the mountain, and then it just healed and came back. Only fire or acid will finish it. Although, tell me what it looks like when Desmond susses this out, though. Like, when he's analyzing this, what does it look like?
He changed on the way and then changed back so he could do this because it's kind of important. But as he's watching, he just he's sniffing, and I imagine everybody's just like, why is he being so weird? But he's like sniffing and then he's staring, and he just gets warm.
Mm-hmm.
And like the snow around his feet just begins to melt a little bit because he's using a lot of everything to kind of suss this out, especially because he's not good at it. He hasn't done it a lot. So and around his feet, the snow is melted and he's just like still ready to fight, but he's done a bunch. But yeah, and then he immediately passes all of that on and just fires right. But also, if we have any acid, we've got options.
When you say this out loud, Lori, which is still actively in there fighting with it, she stops and goes, "But I was not incorrect that I did kill it," and then like ducks as it's clawing at her while she's in there.
This is true. You did, but acid, fire, those are the keys. And then he basically passes on all of that so that the whole team knows to do the things.
Jennifer's like, well, that does make a lot of sense, actually. Valentine, point of fact, I did intend for your glass vial to be a poison phylactery, but it could contain acid just as easily. It should be a very resistant material. And, sorry, task at hand, right?
Good to know for later.
Brother, is that it for Desmond?
As a bonus action, he casts Hunter's Mark.
Perfect. In Brother Uriah, it is your turn. As this monstrosity is clawing and fighting and biting, and everyone is swarming all over it.
Right. Well, despite all my talk of remove curse, I do note that is a touch spell, so I don't think I'm going to get close to it while it's still on its feet. That can be for mop-up later. So, you know something? Speaking of being on my feet, I'm barely on my feet. So, for my action, I believe I will heal myself.
Alrighty. And anything else?
Bonus action, I will... Oh, no, I cannot cast 2 leveled spells.
Correct. So you can do one in a cantrip.
I think I cannot afford to get hit again in my current state. So, yes, I will call upon Ezra to staunch my bleeding and heal the various broken bones that I've been given. Right. And I'll upcast that.
Uriah. Give me perception check.
Perception. Do I get advantage for the fancy goggles I'm wearing?
Not on perception.
Very well. That is 17 total.
While you lay your hand on your chest and call out to Ezra, you swear for a moment as the wind and snow are whipping by, like a form appears in the mist. Like it looks like a woman is there, and then it just isn't.
Well, that usually doesn't happen. Did it seem to be the form of Ezra?
You have seen her before. Yes, it did. At least briefly.
Well, I'm certainly bolstered by this appearance. Let's see how I do on the roll. 18.
18 hit points back. Perfect. Anything else for Brother Uriah?
Do we have healing potions?
I don't think
we got.
Have you?
Did we acquire some? I confuse it. No,
I don't
think so. They're not on my sheet, so I'm going to say no. Very well. So, but I'm going to back up a bit because my next spell has quite an impressive range. So I'm going to try to get out of the range of the hurling of wood and whatnot.
Perfect. You see this thing. It says to most of you, but Valentine, you hear it say, "Nearly got you last time. This time get you for sure." And it reaches out and realizes it's destroyed all the trees that are within arm's reach, and it can't do what it did again. And then it goes, well, we just do it by hand. And it charges and just starts clawing and ripping at Desmond, Valentine, Fenn is flying, Jennifer, and Lori. However, it misses Desmond and Lori, or it misses Desmond and Valentine terribly. It's more running forward, just kind of clawing. However, it lands devastating blows on both Jennifer and Lori. It takes the time to stop and bite Lori, and she screams because it doesn't let go when it bites into her, although she's still like fighting and stabbing at it, and comes and just punches Jennifer, and she like slides backwards and like lands on her back not too far from you, Brother Uriah. She's still awake, but she's very much like oh, that's unpleasant. And she tries to get back to her feet again. However, it is Fenn's turn again, as it has Lori in one of its mouths, as she's like stabbing at it still, trying to get away from it. Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess we're Eldritch Blasting.
Mm-hmm. It's never the wrong move.
Come on, dice, don't fail me. I can read that. One horribly misses. The other is nat 20.
We're gonna say you faked a little left to get it to move its head into view, so the other one would be a direct hit there. Yep. Go ahead and roll it.
All right. I'm gonna double it.
And,
crit.
And then Nahara, you're on deck, and then Valentine.
That was a whopping 4 damage.
Hey, it all adds up. Just again, for the sake of keeping this all track in everybody's mind, it's kind of come out of the clearing now. Like it's on, you all could see over it from where it had smashed the trees where it fell in, and it's now thrown all those trees and has come out now and is in the ice, like actively trying to engage with everyone here in the ice and in the snow, which is only about ankle deep to it. It's calf to knee deep for some of you because you're a variety of heights right now. However, Nahara, you are still up in the sky.
Mm-hmm. And Nahara will, as a bonus action, she looks over to Valentine, gives a little wink, and says, "Oh, the weather outside is frightful, but the fire is so delightful," and gives her bardic inspiration. And then, as I have heat metal as a concentration, so that's still been a minute.
Yep, you can roll that again.
I will roll for damage on that.
You can see with some of its spare legs, it is trying to like heap snow onto the chunks of metal and like pull it off, but every time it touches it, it like has to let go. Is this like sizzling and popping? I will say, especially since you were warned, you in particular, Desmond, as you all are watching, you do see its wounds start closing up. They don't start closing up super quickly, but like even the burns are starting to heal on its face. But yes, go ahead, Nahara. How much was that?
Because Nahara is holding a spiritual focus, which I realize I now have as this in this bard level, she gets an extra d6 to attack rolls.
It's your crystal ball.
It's my crystal ball because you know what? The Taroka deck is flammable. Don't want to do that. So it is it's 27 points of fire damage.
Oh, you see it smells horrific as the pale flesh on this, the smokes and bubbles, and all the heads look up at you, Nahara. You clearly have its attention.
Fine by me.
Because you're dread form, does it need to
It does need to make a wisdom save.
Or was it frightened?
If it doesn't make it, it's frightened.
It is immune to being frightened, which is something Desmond would have known.
Wow. Okay.
Perfect. Anything else from Nahara?
No.
All right, Valentine.
Toasty.
What is your bardic die?
Oh, it's a 1d6.
Okay, excellent. I will once again, for sake of efficiency, I will twin spell 2 more firebolts.
Pachu.
Because I am having such a good time with it.
Perfect.
So I would like to. Where is it kind of standing right now? The clearing has opened up a little bit.
It ran towards you and swiped at you, but it kind of went past you to Jennifer. It kind of just like ran hitting everybody, so it kind of like charged past.
So if it's passing over and all of this is expected to be happening relatively quickly, I would like to try and like get under it and shoot the 2 firebolts up through its stomach.
I will go ahead and allow that. Yep.
Okay, great. That is a 19 and a 22 to hit.
You notice right just to the left of its navel, it has another pair of eyes and a mouth that turn and look down at you. And
Great. I'm going to shoot one right through.
yeah, those both hit. It opens its mouth to say something, and it's like, boom. Yeah.
Not interested. Thank you. Ugh. That's my die. Okay. Uh, 28 plus her d6. That makes it an even 30 points of damage.
30 points of damage. Both fire bolts punch completely through it. Like as it goes, you can see daylight on the other side of it. And one of the arms stops and holds it. It's like, but it does not fall.
Just as a bonus action, once more, I'm going to try and access my telepathic speech and just kind of SOS to talk to Yana if she can hear us.
What's the range on it?
You know what? That's an excellent question. And I have an answer for that.
I feel like it's a mile, but I'm not sure.
No, it's actually for telepathic. I do have a larger one, but for my telepathic bonus action, it's actually only within 30 feet.
Yep. She is definitely
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's within 3 miles if we linked beforehand. I have to establish it when we're in 30 feet, but we always make it before she leaves. So it's within 3 miles.
You are aware that she is within 3 miles of you now, but she does not respond.
Okay.
You're aware of her presence, which means she's alive, but she doesn't say anything.
Okay, great. While it's like kind of still charging through, I will kind of try to like duck and roll, maybe not be directly in its footpath if I can without incurring an attack of opportunity.
Perfect. It is back to the Weathermay Foxgroves. Jennifer, without getting up, tries to shoot her fire bolts and miss wildly. Like, just is like opposite directions, nearly hitting Fenn and Nahara, honestly. She's like, oh, sorry. It is the beast is more agile than I thought. Perhaps he has addled my brain a bit more than intended. And she just kind of starts to get up slowly with a heavy grunt. Brother Uriah, you're a doctor. You realize she's probably got some broken ribs. She's trying to be brave about it, but she's hurt. I'm just like, another day, no problem. Lori, however, comes in and slashes at one of the legs, but one of the arms just comes down and grabs her arm, and she rotates it around and slashes that arm off, like, but is still kind of all over it. And she stops and she looks at you, Desmond, and she's like, I mean, you do intend to assist here. I mean, don't get me wrong. I very much appreciate your tactical assessment, but if you don't mind, maybe you could perhaps. And that is her turn. Bonus action sass. Right. It is your turn, Desmond.
In response, Desmond pulls out his sword and goes at
she does look at she's like, you said you wanted to spar, right? I mean, she's like dodging this thing swinging at her here. Yeah.
Desmond, and a bit more frustrated, more than normal, Zephyr strikes.
Perfect.
Toward the ankles.
Roll it.
Let's see.
I'm a fan of Zephyr Strike.
Hello.
What does it do for those who don't who may not know?
For those of you who've never heard of Zephyr Strike, you move like the wind until the spell ends. Your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Once before the spell ends, you can give yourself advantage on one weapon attack roll on your turn. That attack deals an extra 1d8 force damage on a hit. Whether you hit or miss, your walking speed increases by 30 feet until the end of the turn.
Mm-hmm. So you sort of shimmer and disappear for a second and... Mm-hmm.
Yep. And since it's rolling to attack that I get the advantage on, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect, because on one of those was a nat 20.
Hey. So what's the damage?
The damage on the longsword is 1d8 plus 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then
2d8 plus 3 plus, so it'll be 2d8 plus 3 then, I guess.
Which is lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Since I'm logged in now, that's why I couldn't do anything apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that.
Minor detail.
I'm gonna try to roll that. So that is 16.
16 points of damage.
Yep.
You go completely through that leg. You aim for the ankle, but you kind of take it in the calf, and it just sort of comes off. And the thing stumbles forward, kind of like a misshapen spider, Brother Uriah. Not very far from you. But it is still like struggling to try and get up. But one of its legs is kind of a bloody stump, and it is cut and burned, and there's holes punched clean through it. But it is still trying to fight. Brother Uriah, it is your turn.
Very well. Is it now within range? Could I reach out and touch it? It's not not a melee attack. It would just be if I'm able to actually make contact with it.
You could definitely touch it.
Very well. I shall attempt this. At the very least, I don't know if this person is deserving of redemption, whether they engaged in cannibalism out of desperation or malice, but this should make it less formidable if this works. Ezra, be with me as I cast Remove Curse.
Is you cast Remove Curse. It shrieks again, and it goes and throws up a heart made out of ice that lands.
God, I'm so glad I said that I rolled away from it.
I'm glad you said it too. Your prestidigitation would have been in full effect. And this ice heart hits the ground in front of you. And then it throws up 5 more hearts. And every time it throws up a heart, one of the heads shrinks back and disappears back into it. The faces start to disappear. The extra arms start to disappear. And it does start to shrink back to the form of a man who is grievously injured and like shaggy with like wild bloodshot eyes. And he just sort of like looks down at the ice heart and looks back at you, Brother Uriah. Give me a religion check.
Only an 11, I fear.
I was about to say, uncharacteristically, the Weathermay Foxgroves have no clue. They roll with advantage. One got double 5s, one got a 1 and a 4. So they're like, that could be anything, bro.
But
Yes, Nahara.
if Nahara may, could she just mage hand this ice heart for a closer look?
Yeah, absolutely. It floats off the ground, and this man does kind of like feebly sort of reach for it, but his leg is janked, and he's, very badly hurt. And it looks like a heart that is made out of ice. An actual human heart, not like a Valentine heart, like an actual, although Valentine heart.
Yeah, like a beating heart.
An actual beating heart, but made out of ice.
I'll just sort of yell out to him. It's like, sir, please do not force us to engage further in combat. Stay where you are.
I did what I had to do. I did what I had to do to survive.
Of course, no one's saying that you didn't.
You'd have done the same.
Yes,
You'd have done the same.
We can help you now. You're free from whatever enchantment you were under.
Nahara, you have it. You see, Laurie has not put down her sword. Like, she doesn't just walk up and stroke him, but she very much kind of looks at you, Desmond, as holding her blade. And you see Jennifer immediately has gone back into scientist mode. She just like drops down kind of in a squat and is like moving the lenses on her glasses. She's like, fascinating. But like just out of his arm's reach. But Nahara, you have the heart.
Can I cast Identify on it?
You can. It's going to work, but give me a religion check with advantage to see how well it works.
Okay. $19.
Nahara, you don't really know how you know this. because, the past is a blur. But you heard of a legend of creatures called Chenu that are humans that either engaged in cannibalism or refused to share what food they had, or both. And when the curse falls upon them, the first thing that happens is their heart turns to ice. And they are compelled to continue consuming human flesh. But every person they eat, they don't just eat, they merge with, and it becomes a part of them, like this. And so what you have is this man's cursed heart. You are muted, ma'am.
My mic is
Very sensitive.
Possessed. Okay, so interesting turn of events. This happens to be that's hot.
Give it back. Give it back. Give it back.
But it's cursed.
Yes.
Okay. So then we probably shouldn't give it back.
So please remain calm. We're out of combat, right?
I mean, pending what's about to happen. I mean, he is still very wild-eyed and frothy, but now he's a half-naked dude in the snow. So it's, it's kind of like the fight's out of here. He may not be out of the fight, but you guys are, essentially, yes.
Can I try casting calm emotions on him?
You can. And he does sort of start to relax. All of you start to relax. When you do this calm emotions, Uriah, you hear from nearby, "Oh, c'est bon. It's the calming thing, yeah? It's everyone is like, they all relax now. It's very nice. It's lovely. Yes, it's lovely."
Who said that?
Oh, it is uncharacteristic of me to be just so open and jetty, but I can't help it. But I saw you were doing the heroics, and you were just so merciful. Out of the trees, the same trees this thing was in, you see a creature that looks like somewhere between a gnome and a dwarf. He is dressed all in white. He's got a long, fluffy beard. He's got a white, fluffy hat and gargantuan feet. His feet are huge. His feet would be oversized on a grown man. And I have just sent the picture of what he looks like to our chat here. And he's like, it is more adventurers. Yes. No, do not allow me to interfere with things. I am here. I just want to observe what you are going to do to this pathetic creature who has been doing the cannibalism, I think.
Yes. Hello. I'm Uriah McCorber, and you are, sir?
Oh, I am a Barbagazi. Is it Barbagazi? Yes. We are the mountain dwarves, and we live here. We live under the ground when it is not so cold. Also, in the Lamordia, it's always cold. See, and you see, Lori and Jennifer both turn and look at it, and Desmond, Lori looks at you again and kind of raises her sword.
No. Bonjour, messieurs. Comment ça va?
Oh, c'est bon. And he just like comes like running up to you. It is very awkward with his big feet, Uriah. And he's like, yes, you are the cowbell, right? The blue woman, she spoke very highly of you, she did. That would make, with this one, is this Valentine? She said, I would know the Valentine because she would have the, the fancy shoes on. Those are all lovely shoes. I do not think they would work for me, though. Yeah, no.
He's seen Tatiana.
Yeah, oui. Tatiana.
Where is she?
Oh, she is at my home. She is when I last left, she was drinking with my family. That she can put it away. She can. We are dwarves. We thought there's no way she'll be able to keep up with us. But yeah.
What is she doing at your house?
Does it happen to be a lot of food there?
Yeah. Oui. Is there food?
That's
That's why she's at his house.
That's
Yes,
what
yes,
she's
yes.
doing at
Yes,
the
is
house.
there
Yes.
food? Is there drink? Is there hospitality? You know, it's like we do not often reveal ourselves to the outside world, but she came through. She was in, well, first of all, we heard the clashing and the banging was the fighting as a monster. And then after that, she came and she was the big wolf. And she saw us sliding down the mountain. That is what we like to do. We do this for fun.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, mon ami. Yeah, and she wanted to ski with us, but we cannot do with the skis. We just do with the feet. But we got along so well, we offered to bring her back. You all are welcome to join if you like. I don't mean to disrupt you from whatever business this is, but you're welcome to come to the house.
Yes, well, this fellow, he's been cursed, and I'm not sure if he could be technically held responsible for what he did while cursed. He claims to have resorted to, well, cannibalism as his only means of saving his own life. But are there authorities we might turn him over to? Surely.
You know, you got the natural elder, you leave him in the woods, and they take care of themselves, I think. Perhaps there are the cities in La Mordia, but I do not recommend that you visit the cities in La Mordia. We have jails, I suppose, but I do not know if we are prepared to perpetrate his crime. Although I do think we can all agree that the eating of the people is no good.
No good at all. If your people do have some means of keeping him confined and perhaps administering justice, determining the particulars of his case, it would be appreciated. I don't think I could leave another being to die of exposure, especially not on midwinter.
Yes, we, Nisa can I. That is why we invited the blue woman to the house, you see, because she was cold and she was hungry. Although we are learning, she is always hungry. Mon ami, c'est bon. And you see all around you, there's about 12 of these things. They're just there. They weren't there, and then they're just there.
Why are we still here talking?
Would you want? She says if we go out and we see you, you would be the no-nonsense. You want to go and see the Tatiana, right? Oui?
Show the way. Thank you.
Yes. Come. And he does start tromping through the snow just happily. And Laurie and Jennifer are like, so we're giving the cursed man to the, and she looks at her notes, Barbagazi snow dwarves.
Yes.
And we're going to go drink and eat with them?
Because who cares? I am sick of this wretched place where everyone is suffering somehow even more than all of the awful places that we have been. I would like to move on. I would like to leave. We have business to attend to.
Oh, so you do look like you could use a rest.
Well, where are you all off to next?
I believe our boots are bound for Barovia.
We have business to attend to with Strahd.
They both look at each other and then look at you, and they're like, Barovia? Well, we might be of some assistance there. And as you walk, these Barbagazi lead you into a system of caves that penetrate deep into the mountains. And just when you really start thinking that maybe this is a trick of some sort, you turn the corner and there is a wide cavern that has a town in it that is just lovely. It is warm. There are blankets and fires. The smell of cooking bread and baking meat. Small, gigantically feted children are running by happily. And in the middle of the town, you do see your dear friend Tatiana passed out drunk in a pile of these winter dwarves. And here, with the opportunity to have an uncharacteristic, restful night in peaceful surroundings, of drink and song and food with these colorful Barbagazi dwarves, which are in fact French folklore of mountain dwarves. And the Chenoo are Algonquin folklore. Shout out to anybody that goes back to We're Alive Frontier with me. This is a good place for us to stop because, unfortunately, although sleep comes early on a full stomach, it is not terribly peaceful for all of you. And we will see you back here January, I said it myself,
13th?
13th. January 13th. Happy holidays. Uriah, you find yourself tossing and turning, unable to get comfortable and let sleep find you. And as you open your eyes, searching the room, you see Nahara, as always, sitting there, staring at nothing in particular.
I'll get up off my bedroll and approach her carefully. I just didn't want to startle her. Hello? Nahara?
Oh, goodness. Hello, Uriah. Is something wrong?
I just wasn't able to get to sleep. Knowledge of what's to come keeps preying on my mind.
I've been thinking about that as well.
Do you really think it's wise to beard the lion in its den, so to speak? I mean, Barovia is Strad von Zarovich's place of power. He's not just ruler there. He is Barovia, in a very real sense.
I know. What worries me is that I fear that we won't be under the same protection there by Lord Aslan that if we are in Barovia.
Yes.
And part of me fears what shall happen if I'm there, because as you know, he was my patron before Lord Aslan. I couldn't imagine him being too happy about that.
No, the fact that you gave up his patronage and turned instead to one of his greatest foes, I imagine that stung a bit, and he doesn't strike me as the forgiving sort. Then there is the matter of, my parentage. I'm not sure if he's completely aware of it or not, but if he knows, or if he discovers it, things could get rather sticky for me as well.
Yes. I feel like I must go. I need answers. We spent all this time helping everyone else and trying to find people, and I've been trying to find out about myself, and I don't know where to begin, but something tells me that Strahd would know something.
Yes. Is the knowledge of how you came to have him as a patron, is that available to you, or is that also shrouded in your thoughts?
I don't remember.
Of course, I'm sorry. I know it's.
Do you ever
it's
have
very
that,
painful. Yes.
Do you ever have that feeling? It's as though when you awake from a dream and immediately forget it, but you have a sense in your being about what that dream felt like.
Yes.
Whether it was dreadful or joyful.
I suppose everyone is familiar with that feeling.
I can't imagine anything good coming out of it. I don't remember anything from him or of that land, or if I'm even what I have to do with it, but nothing about it brings me any sort of relief.
Nahara, I just want to tell you what strength I have. What strength I have is yours. I know that this will be most dangerous for you, perhaps for me as well, but I am but a vessel of Ezra's grace. And her power is great. If I am up to the task, I shall channel it as I am able. For you.
Thank you, Uriah. You're so much more brave than you know.
I don't feel very brave. Not very brave at all, but we must do this, I suppose. In some ways, our path has led here all along.
Yes. But what happens after? I mean, if Desmond and Valentine and everybody goes back to their homes, I don't know where my home is. Where will you go?
My home is Darkon. But
will I be left alone then?
No, I was about to say, I was born in Darkon, created, I'm not sure. But wherever you go, I would like to make my home with you.
I'd like that very much.
You know what they say, the easiest way to cause the gods to laugh is to make plans.
Yes. Wherever it is that we end up, and whatever Barovia brings for us, I'm glad you're with me.
I feel the same.
And here, on the eve of a conflict that will not only be life-altering for you, but perhaps for all of the dread domains, is a good place for us to stop.